Iran says if any ambiguities remain to be resolved, it will welcome the extension of talks with the P5+1 over a final deal regarding its nuclear energy program. Government spokesman Mohammad Bagher Nobat says an extension will be necessary if the talks fail to lead to a good deal and ambiguities remain. Tehran is hopeful that the talks will finish before the end of June. Nobat also emphasized that Iran is seeking a good deal with the P5+1 over its nuclear energy program. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest has said that June 30th remains the deadline. But he says if it is necessary to take a couple of extra days, the P5+1 is ready to do that. William Jones from the Executive Intelligence Review joins us from Leesburg. Maybe he can share his thoughts with us on this. So William Jones, looking at how this can be taken, many people always look at this in a negative light. But then it's better than no deal. So that means they are working on things. And Iran has said to lead to a good deal, if there's going to be some delay, it's okay.
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic as we move forward because the signals we're getting, I mean, obviously, they may not make that deadline, and both sides are indicating that there are still a number of loose ends that have to be tied up before everything is said and done. But that both sides are indicating a willingness to give it the time that is necessary if it goes over the deadline in order to come to an agreement. In addition, there are voices also coming out of Congress who have been, some of whom have been rather opposed to the deal, who are indicating also that there's not going to be an outcry from Congress if the deadline is not reached.
Iran's leader also has made some statements, obviously this time around more in depth and showing his awareness of what the details of this of these conversations, negotiations have been. I don't know if you've listened to his statements, but what was your reaction on this? Because in some respects, within the context of the negotiators, he gave his full backing. He said that he supports the negotiators involved. Does that send a signal to the U.S. that both Iran's leader and the negotiators, obviously, that they are on the same page and there's no deviancy in any shape or form, that they both understand what it is that's being negotiated?
Well, the statements of the Ayatollah have in many the press media here, which is totally unreliable, indicated kind of a step backwards in terms of some of the agreements that were being discussed. I think it's, however, generally being considered that this is a negotiating move on the part of the Ayatollah, that these are matters that will be decided ultimately in the discussion, and there's perhaps a certain attempt to get a little more leverage on certain points that have not been particularly clear. But it seems to me, given the total picture, that there is a willingness on both sides to come to some deal very soon that would lead to a resolution of the so-called Iranian nuclear problem, and would also lead to a lifting of sanctions. Now, the timing of that and the sequencing probably still has to be decided, but I think all the aspects of the agreement are on the table, and everybody is in principle in agreement with meeting a resolution of those aspects. So like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. A lot of things can happen, of course, and there's going to be a fight. I know that AIPAC and the pro-Israeli lobby is probably preparing their ammunition to try and stop this in Congress, but also the people who are supportive of this, including the Jewish community, which is in the United States, which is supporting this, the J Street crowd, are also preparing for a fight. So I'm cautiously optimistic we're going to reach some kind of agreement before very long.
William Jones, Executive Intelligence Review from Leesburg. Thank you.